My forte lies in finding small and mid-cap stocks, and I've been very fortunate to have caught some good companies such as Avanti, Minda, Ajanta Pharma, Bharat Rasayan, which have been big wealth creators for me, basically life changers. I have trained over 2,500 people. I've done workshops in various cities, and I've also done it internationally. I have been invited to write columns by the Economic Times, Money Control, and Morning Star, and luckily to have mentored and invested in a lot of startups with substantial stake. Now, coming to the content, like the most important thing that I would like to ask all of you, and we'll make it very interactive, right? So, I want all of you guys to reply when I ask you something, so that we can have an interactive session, correct? So all of you guys tell me, do you listen to the market or do you tell market what you like? Or do you listen to the market and hear what it likes? What do you believe in? Please reply in the chat box. A lot of guys are saying listen to the market. So my basic thesis in the market is I like to listen to the market. I really don't like to impose my feelings to the market or my views to the market. I believe that in the long run, it pays much better rewards if you are listening to the market. And how do you do that? The idea always is to buy the strongest stocks rather than picking up random companies, because there are so many listed stocks, you cannot really focus on everything, right? So you have to have a process by which you approach the market. So, just to lay base, I will talk about a few things and then we can straight away go to the patterns and examples and case studies that we'll be discussing. So, everyone agrees that PSUs are bad investments, right? In the last 10 years, hardly there have been PSUs which have created wealth. And normally, if you ask people that what do you think about these companies, you ask experts, they'll say that okay, it's a PSU, so no point investing in it. And that is one logic that we always go by right nowadays. But it has not been the same always. Like if you look at this chart, again, here we are not really talking about technical analysis, but this is more about, I have made the chart so that it becomes very pictorial and you guys can see it in a visual way and understand in a much better manner. Correct? So here, as you can see that the arrows are the new highs. Whenever the stock has made a new high, here in this particular chart, it's new 52-week high. So here you can see that at one point in time, PSU did create a lot of wealth, and most of the PSUs were creating wealth. That was in the era of 2003 to 2008 when Vajpayee government went for divestments. So as you can see, something like a bale went from say 10, 15 rupees to and became a big multi-bagger, correct? So it's not always in markets. Flavors change, stocks that are in favor change, uh, sectors change. So anything of such sort we should not have fixed in our mind, right? So how does market speak to us? Market talks to us by telling us that okay, this particular stock is hitting a new high or showing strength. Because when does a stock hit a new high? It's not when you or me go and buy. It's about the insiders, it's the biggies. When they start buying, that is when the stock starts moving. And when a stock hits a new 52-week high, or a 6-month high or a 3-month high, it is telling us that study me, look at me, try to find out reasons why I'm making new highs. A lot of times, when these stocks make a new high, they already have moved by 50, 60, 70% from their 52-week lows, from their lows. And normally what is our outlook? हम लोग ऐसे सोचते हैं कि यार ये तो इतना बढ़ चुका है, अब देख के क्या फायदा? And we get scared, right or wrong? We get scared, right? But later on, these are the companies that go on to become big multi-baggers, and then later we think that okay, सोचा था पढ़ेंगे but पढ़ा नहीं. Has happened with all of us, correct? So the idea is, see, fundamentally we are trying to find stocks like Pidilite, Asian Paints, or companies which are multi-baggers. But then, we want stocks that are hitting new lows. So just imagine something like a Pidilite or an Asian Paints when they became, say, 100x or 300x, 500x from their lows, how many times they would have made a new high consistently, correct? I mean, if the stock is becoming 10x or 15x or whatever, it consistently makes new high. So, which is the stock that you should look at? A stock that is making new low or the stock that is making new high consistently? If you ask yourself logically. So, as you can see here, yeah, that when this stock made a new high, the first price was around Bale in 2007, whatever. The first price was at about 10 rupees and it consistently made new highs. And if you look at it later, when it started to fall, the red arrows are new 52-week lows, and you can see that it kept on making new 52-week lows. I'm not saying that this will happen with all the stocks, but I'm just trying to prove a point that what the biggest mistakes retailers do is they try to buy stocks that are hitting new lows. They are fearful of buying any stocks that has moved 30, 40, 50% from its lows, right? And the same stock 10 रुपए से 400 हो जाएगा, a retailer will not look at it. But then when it later falls from say 400 to 250, 270, 280, that is the time we feel very comfortable in buying these stocks, right or wrong? तो नीचे से 20-30% बढ़ गया, वी आर नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल. बट ऊपर से अगर स्टॉक गिर जाता है थोड़ा, वी बिकम वेरी कंफर्टेबल इन बाइंग इट, करेक्ट? That is the precise reason why we lose money in a normal scenario. Obviously, there will be exceptions, and I'm sure that a lot of you will say that, okay, I caught this stock at the bottom and I made so much money. But can you do it consistently? Can it be a strategy that you can rely on? You have to be in the market for XYZ number of years to create wealth. Can you pick the bottoms consistently? So what I would say is look at the stocks that are hitting new highs. When they hit their new high for the first time, because there has to be a particular reason why they're hitting new high. And I'm not saying that just be blind and go and buy. A lot of times, fundamentally the stocks are not that good, so you don't buy. Not all stocks hitting new highs go and hit become multi-baggers. Even in the case of here, in the case of say Bhel, here you can see it hit a new high, but it did not become a multi-bagger or did not give you that kind of returns that it gave earlier. So what I'm trying to say is your universe of stocks to study should be the stocks that are hitting new highs, should be the sectors that are hitting new highs. If you look at it carefully in this run, pharma was the first sector that went on to hit a new high. IT was the first sector that went on to hit a new all-time high. And if you look carefully, these 2-3 sectors have given maximum returns, right? Pharma went up the fastest and first. So how do you know which stock to study? That is the biggest question that people keep on asking me again and again and again. This is how you know which stock to study. And I like to be with strength. I like to be with strong hands. I like to be with the stocks that are telling me that study me. Please don't ask me such questions. What's your view on pharma for 5 years? We'll have Q&A session and we'll really take these questions there. Let us just focus on the content, okay, brother? So what I'm trying to say here is, when a stock hits a new high, so you have to think that, am I the smartest guy? Why aren't the new low, sorry, am I the smartest guy? Why aren't the insiders buying? Why are the people who are informed buying? Why is the promoter himself not buying? In stock market, we have smartest of people. सूंघ लेते हैं वो लोग कि क्या होने वाला है, right? Smartest of people are there in stock market. So if these guys buy in bulk of quantity, obviously the stock will not be at a new low, right? It will be hitting new highs after a certain point in time. So this is the question that we need to ask ourselves consistently. Correct? Yeah. So नीचे से 20% ऊपर अपने को महंगा लगता है, बट ऊपर से 20% सस्ता लगता है गिरने के बाद. What I am trying to say is, let us just assume, असली में आप सोचो कि आप वहां थे, उस वक्त थे. Let us assume that we saw first time भेल at around 15-20 rupees. I am sure at that point in time its low would have been 10 rupees. So 10 से 15 हो गया. अपने मन में क्या आता कि ये तो 50% बढ़ गया, there's no point studying it anymore. We would not even have spent time, we would not even have given it 10 minutes. We would have just thrown the idea away. अब देख के क्या फायदा, 50% तो भाग गया. Right or wrong? I am intentionally using Hindi for some kind of sentences because it just lets you connect in a better way. But I am repeating it in English as well. So it will not be a problem. ऐसा मन में आता है कि नहीं आता है? Guys, can you please reply? And that is the wrong thing, because you miss the biggest opportunities there. Correct? And when the same stock, after becoming a multi-bagger, when we had all the FOMO of the world, from 300-400 comes to 250, we feel that okay, अब तो सस्ता मिल रहा है. Right or wrong? तब हिम्मत आ जाता है लेने का. In fact, it should be the opposite way around. I'll give you an example of Yes Bank. Obviously, this is an extreme example to give, but I'm just trying to communicate the point which I'm trying to, raise. Here, you will see Yes Bank. Can you all see the screen and see the first time when it was hitting a new high was around 100, 120 rupees? Right? And can you see how, these are automated arrows, 52-week high, 6 months high, whatever I have coded. I have not really put those arrows, right? So can you see how when it was going up, it kept going up and went to 400 rupees? I'm not saying every stock will do this, but just notice how it did not hit a new 52-week low when it was going up. And I'm sure as retail investors, we would have not even studied it, because we would have thought that we have missed the bus. But when the stock started to fall, I talked to so many retail investors, and the biggest mistakes they make is buying these kind of stocks when they fall. और कितना गिरेगा? कितना भी गिर सकता है. Can you see how it fell and it was hitting new 52-week lows time and again? If you just make one promise to yourself that we will not buy stocks hitting new lows, will it not save you from such disaster? A lot of big investors also bought this company at say 100, 65, 70, whatever price. And as retail investors, we all thought that it's a great opportunity. Even this particular investor is buying, so why should I not buy? Because for that investor, it might just be something like going to a casino and spending XYZ money, which we also don't think about because of its net worth. But for us, we might be putting 10% of our entire portfolio. Right? Is it the same? No. So your investment process, your philosophy has to be different. correct? Just one simple rule of not buying a stock that is making new lows can save you in all these kind of situations. Because अगर नीचे जा रहा है, why isn't the promoter buying? Why aren't big investors buying? If they buy with time, it will hit a new high. We'll look at it then. We don't mind looking at stocks which have moved 30, 40, 50% from the lows, because that is how multi-baggers are made. The first time, so Avanti Feeds was the biggest wealth creator for me, and the first time I bought it, it was up 50% that year. And from there, it went on to become 70 times. Raj, obviously, you have to look at valuations. You have to do the fundamental analysis. You have to do everything. But I'm trying to say that किन stock पे करना है ये analysis. When a stock hits a new high, and if possible, then early stages when it hits a new high, not when it has already kind of been hitting new highs. जब वो तुरंत हिट करता है नया हाई, that is when you start studying it. That is when you start seeing what is the story. Because a lot of stocks hit new high. You can't buy all. But then if a lot of stocks from a particular sector are hitting new highs, then you think that okay, let me just focus on this sector right now. That is also a hint. Again, this is not a technical analysis or something like that. This is just a list of stocks that you should be interested in. Same with Diwan Housing. Look at it. I mean, how many of you bought Diwan Housing or Yes Bank thinking they have become too cheap? Please be honest. And there are so many people there in this room. Very few people are participating. It would be great if all of you participate. We can interact in the chat. Don't you think that this particular rule would have saved you? क्यों लेना है नीचे गिरते हुए? कहाँ है होशियार लोग? I mean, even if someone made money in these stocks, tell me something. Can you do it consistently? यार एक दो बार बना लिया, it's a different thing. But for me, what is important is, can you use it as a strategy or not consistently? Now, see, here the stock was hitting new lows, correct? But you could have just waited for it to new highs, right? Hit new highs. थोड़ा ऊपर लेना पड़ता. But then you know that you are with the trend. Why to study it here? इधर भी ये stock नया lows बना रहा था. Was it very late to even enter here? Okay, you did not really enter at say 40 rupees, but you could enter at 50 and it gave a good move after that. Are you getting my point, guys? So in a scenario where this particular stock is falling, like anything, you just wait for it to hit a new high. If not 52-week high, because that will be very far, at least 3-month high, 6-month high, उतना तो वेट कर सकते हैं ना अपने, कुछ स्ट्रेंथ तो दिखाए. It did not hit any kind of highs. You can see from these two scenarios, right, that it would not have been very late for you. So if you follow this particular rule, that massively a lot of times. I'll tell you another psychological issue which a lot of us face. Okay, when a stock falls, okay, suppose it is just falling randomly from here, 450, 350, you would have thought of buying it at 450, 350, 150, 50 rupees, 5 rupees, and then when it suddenly goes to 20, you feel अरे यार मैं सोच रहा था लेने का, लिया नहीं. अरे आप तो 400 पे भी सोच रहे थे, 300 पे भी सोचा था, 200 पे भी सोचा था. But you remember the bottommost point that I could have bought here and I would have made XYZ money. You calculate in your mind quantity also कि इतना बन जाता मेरा. So it is very important, guys, to be very honest with yourself. तो ये मत सोचो कि मैं ले लेता. Just realize that you could not have caught and you were thinking about it from a very long period of time and at much higher prices also. Consistently, nobody can catch bottoms, sorry, or tops for that matter. So this is one of the most important points that I wanted to communicate to you, that just focus on stocks hitting new highs. And I'm not saying be blind and buy them. This is just the starting point. I mean, the biggest mistakes I have seen retailers make is being stuck in stocks like Arcom, Diwan Housing, Yes Bank, Suzlon, etc., which they would have never really bought had they would have followed this. Vodafone is still hitting new highs now. So if you just followed 3 6 months high, you would have actually bought Vodafone. Not bought Vodafone from 120 to 4 rupees, but then bought it at around 2 rupees, but bought it at around 4 5 rupees. Right or wrong, guys? मारने दो, स्ट्रेंथ दिखाने दो, बड़े लोग को आने दो, पार्टी चालू होने दो, फिर ज्वाइन करेंगे. सबसे पहले पार्टी में किसको जाने का है? राइट और रॉन्ग? हिट्स योर माइंड. So get this very clear that new highs is just a starting point. It's not a buy decision. ऐसा नहीं है कि नया हाई मारा और ले लिया. Okay? You have to study the stocks hitting new highs. You have to do the full fundamental analysis. You have to look into the management quality. You have to look into the earnings. You have to look into balance sheet and P&L. But because market is so fast, themes change here and there. There are so many different opportunities. Today you are looking at tweet of someone, you are reading that stock. Tomorrow you are looking at Z business, reading that stock. Day after tomorrow you are reading Economic Times, reading that stock. But what happens ultimately is, you don't have any process of your own. And you just go here and there. It's much better to have a process and follow it. And don't go after random stocks. So lots and lots of work after that is needed. Many companies hit new high and fall immediately. So a lot of companies naya high banate and then they start falling. That also happens. So be very specific, do the hard work, read the fundamentals, but which companies to focus on? Focus on the companies which are making new highs. Right? You will still miss out on a lot of multi-baggers. You might not be able to catch a lot of them, which happens with me, which happens with everyone. You can't marry every beautiful girl in the city. But important thing is, बने तो बने, multi-bagger बने, लेकिन मेरे आंख के आगे से बने. You will not. ठीक है, there could be personal preferences. I might not like a company which has a lot of debt and it goes on to become a multi-bagger, right? Say an Adani Green, lot of debt, correct? So I might not, it's just a checklist for me. In fact, I suggest all of you should have a checklist for yourself. So I might not like companies with debt and I might ignore that company. That is okay. But at least it comes in front of me. I look at it and then I let it go. Right? Right or wrong, guys? Any stock that becomes double or triple or 10 times or 15 times or 20 times or whatever has to hit new highs multiple number of times. Tell me, what are your chances? If you are looking new lows, do you catch multi-baggers? Or if you are looking new highs, is there a chance that you catch multi-baggers? किसमें चांस ज्यादा है आपका? Somebody says lows. See, that's not my style. There are 1,000 ways of making money in the market. Some people can catch lows consistently. I can't. Perfect. One of the most important points I will like to tell all of you guys is try to read companies from the past. Try to read multi-baggers which have been in the past. try to understand wealth destroyers of the past. Because normally, a lot of people come to me and ask me, uh, yeah, a lot of people come to me and tell me, uh, can you give me some picks? I want to study. Correct. Um, but honestly, if you were really serious about studying, you would have studied past winners and past well destroyers because you learn like that. If you think you can learn if you think you can learn by, reading companies live, you are probably not following the right process. Correct? Okay, just a second, okay? Somebody is saying that, okay, there was a stock which was hitting new highs and now hitting new lows every day. So, that is why you have to do fundamental analysis. Nobody tells you to be in the illiquid counters. I mean, if there are illiquid counters, there are companies which hit lower circuit, upper circuit, and they move like that. Avoid them. Nobody's asking you to go there. That's why you need to study. That's why the entire point that I have written here, that it is just a starting point. It's not a buy decision. You have to do a lot of work after that. करेक्ट. सो अगर आपको मार्केट में सीखना है, अगर आपको जानना है, तो यू हैव टू गो इन द हिस्ट्री. You have to go in the history and you have to read stocks that have become multi-bagger. Why did they become multi-bagger? What were the traits that they had? Stocks that did destroy wealth, what were the traits that they had? That is the most important thing that you need to do. आप में से कितने लोग पुराने स्टॉक्स जाके पढ़ते हैं? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू go back in the history and try to understand why a particular company became a multi-bagger or why a particular company became a well destroyer? उनके एनुअल रिपोर्ट्स पढ़ो, 5-5 6-6 साल के. उसके उसके कौन कौन सुनो, उनके स्क्रीनर पे रेशियोज देखो, उनके प्रोडक्ट समझो. बिकॉज दैट इज हाउ यू विल रियलाइज. बिकॉज multi-baggers will be right there in front of your eyes, but you will not be able to catch it if you don't know the history. Because होती तो वही चीजें हैं, अलग अलग कपड़े पहन के multi-baggers आते हैं या स्टॉक्स आते हैं. Obviously you can be wrong, everyone is, be it Buffett or Jhunjhunwala, but I'm not talking about that. I am talking about the odds of increasing your chances. All the companies that have created wealth in the past, you should study them. All the companies that have been well destroyers, you should study them. Start with the companies whose businesses you will understand in an easy manner. I'll give you an example, okay? And honestly, this is not an advice. I don't own it. I have no view on these stocks. I would say start with, if you're reading annual report, don't start with a very big company. Don't start with Tata Steel, Reliance, etc. So many subsidiaries and all are there. We will be scared. We'll never, ever, 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 ever touch annual reports again. Start with something like an Inox. Again, I'm not invested. I have no views. Start with something like a PVR. Because we go to movies, we watch movies, we know they show ads, तो उसका पैसा आता है, ticket sales, they get money from there, they sell us popcorn at exorbitantly high prices, we buy them, we buy Coke which is available outside at 15 rupees, we pay 150, 200, 300, 500 for that. So that's how they make money. So at least you will be able to understand what they are trying to say. Again, win. I did not say you buy them. I am just saying if you are new to annual reports, you just study them for educational purpose. The problem with people is they always want to study only those things that they are intending to buy. खुजली रहता है, अभी ये पढ़े ले 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 एंड बायसनेस आ जाता है. आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट एजुकेशन. यू नीड टू लर्न. फॉर लर्निंग जस्ट रीड देम. You will feel comfortable about annual reports and gradually you can enter into complicated businesses. Correct? So today's topic of discussion, as I said, was fundamental patterns or multi-bagger patterns. Now, what are multi-bagger patterns? I'll just take water. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So what are multi-bagger patterns? Multi-bagger patterns are patterns if you find it in a particular company. These are the traits that you will normally see in companies that have been wealth creators. If you find, and these are fundamental patterns, not technical patterns, if you find them in a company, it's not a buy straight away, definitely. But you should give more time in studying that company because your chances of success is much, much higher. Is it clear, everyone? And whatever patterns we are discussing here, you will not find them in books. These are out of personal experience, and these are my notes which I've created in a form of PPT for you guys. And most of these you will not find it in a book or anywhere else. So some of the multi-bagger patterns here, I've just given some names and we'll discuss a few because of the time constraint. We cannot really discuss all, but you will get a lot of inputs from here and I will show you live how me and my mentorship guys, we could use it practically and buy a particular stock which gave us very handsome returns recently. So we'll come to that as well. Some of the multi-bagger patterns are negative working capital pattern. Keep an eye on acquisitions and takeovers, eradication of non-core diversification, demerger in a sizable company, companies eating market share of market leaders, legacy companies witnessing induction of new generation, companies which are leaders in niche area with small market cap, second-run companies where leaders have been multi-bagger. All of these are self-explanatory, so you would understand what the concept is. Let us straight away go to the case studies. So we'll first go to negative working capital pattern. Before that, Prashant Singh Rajput has a very, very interesting question and I would like to answer it for all of you guys. He says, in a bull market like this, new highs which are happening gives us FOMO. So we might get into some wrong decision. That is absolutely right. Because what might happen is you might enter at a very wrong price. But what I'm trying to say, Prashant, is you start looking at a company when it hits a new high for the first time. Not when it kind of has, from the time that it hit a new high, it has moved a lot. And again, once it has hit a new high, you look at it, you study it, you do the fundamental analysis, you look at the valuation, you look at the prospective growth, you understand what is your risk in uh, that particular stock at that point in time. And again, risk management has to be there. For me personally, I don't. Vin is saying, why don't you tell to look the company once they correct? I would rather sell. तो मेरा वो उल्टा रहता है. This is just my style, guys. You can, with this thought of hitting new highs, you can create your own strategy. कि ठीक है, I will look at stocks which fall down from 10-15% and work on it. Go look into the history how it performed, right? Yeah, from 52 week high I'm talking about. So if you feel that would be better, you can work on it. This suits me much better. So negative working capital pattern. Normally, what does this mean? Basically, company which is working on advances. We all know how tough market scenario is currently or in general. It's a very, very, very competitive world, right? So if a company is getting advances from its customers, माल देने के पहले पैसा दे रहा है, इतना गरज है माल का, इतना ज्यादा चाहिए. Are you getting my point? So a lot of companies will have negative working capital and they will not be multi-bagger. There is no shortcut. You have to study. If it has these multi-bagger patterns or negative working capital pattern or whatever pattern, you put more time into it. Your chances of success are higher. There is no guarantee in anything, right? And just a request, guys, stop questions. Stop asking me questions. I'll answer all the questions in Q&A session. Otherwise, we'll not be able to we'll not be able to cover the content, right? So when I ask you for your opinion, just give the opinion. For questions, we'll keep the Q&A session. We have a separate Q&A session, so don't worry about it. Okay, guys? And I'm seeing the same common names answering all the time. Others, please answer. It will be fun. We are also trying to put in a lot of efforts here. It will be a lot of fun if you participate. So, do you think that is it not really interesting? A lot of you guys are into businesses. A lot of you guys work for businesses. A lot of you are working for companies. Don't you think that if I'm getting advances even before I dispatch the order, is it not something interesting? Doesn't it make you feel that okay, wow, I should study this company more? मन में आता है कि नहीं आता है? नहीं आता है तो आना चाहिए ना. ऐसा क्या है इस कंपनी में? क्यों इसी से प्रोडक्ट चाहिए? राइट. सो केस स्टडी वन, कैप्लिन पॉइंट. So obviously this is not a 2S form to calculate negative working capital, but for the sake of our discussion, we can use cash conversion cycle. So as you can see, if you go to ratestar.in, you will find these ratios there, and you know even in June 2011 you could see that the cash conversion cycle for this company was negative. मतलब negative working capital था company का. So and that at that point in time company was very tiny, very small. The company was very tiny. Okay, so don't you think अपने मन में ऐसा आना चाहिए था कि इतनी छोटी कंपनीज को एडवांस में पैसा देके कौन ले रहा है माल? आता है कि नहीं आता है मन में? The company was very tiny at that point in time. So, and now you will ask me, there are 5,000 listed companies. How would I know that there is a company in the universe that is showing negative working capital pattern and which is so small and tiny? June 11 mein nobody would have heard about Kaplan Point. By the time it comes on TV and all, it would have already become 10-15 bagger or a big multi-bagger. And by the time it circulates on WhatsApp, probably big people might be exiting. Right or wrong? तो कैसे पता चलेगा आपको कि ऐसा है? How will you even know? So my basic thing is, how do I get to know? I can tell you that. Simple is, I look at stocks when they hit new highs. So in 2010, it was quoting at 1.5 rupees. In 2011, it was quoting at 3 rupees. Again, these are automated coded arrows. You can see it was hitting new highs. When it hits a new highs, I open the screener, I see what is happening in general. If I like whatever I see on the screener, I go in depth, I do my in-depth fundamental study. If required, I do scuttlebutt, try to talk to dealer, distributor, supplier, management. I also, try to find what is the story that is going on about the management, and if I'm convinced, I go and buy the stock. And that is how this comes on your radar. There's no secret formula out there, and nobody will tell you this. I mean, you attend thousands of webinars. I mean, this is something that has happened with me. I'm not saying that I'm great if I'm sharing this with you. It's sorry guys, it's just a normal thing that if you ask someone, how did you know? We read a lot, we read 12 hours a day, and that is how we came to know about this, because we are full time into stock markets. How does it help you? Does this answer help you in any way? आपको कोई फायदा हुआ? आप कर पाओगे? नहीं ना. So that is why I am trying to tell you that I'm trying to simplify it in a step by step manner for you. कि look at stocks when are hitting new highs. Yes, it moved because the sector was growing. That's a good point. आपके fundamental pattern में it's another reason why you should buy it. Correct? Sector हो कुछ भी हो, जब आप फंडामेंटल स्टडी करोगे तो ये पॉइंट तो आपके माइंड में आएगा ना. You can find new highs on Trendline. There's a website called Trendline. I use it extensively. Ratestar.in is also there for screener. Another screener I like is screener.in. So these are the sources you can definitely use. Stockage is again another app which I like. So and this particular stock, and again this is an exception, did not make a new low in the entire journey from 1.5 rupees to 783. And we would not have studied this, right? क्यों? क्योंकि जब हमारा नजर मान लो यहाँ पे 10 रुपए पे आया होता, हम देखते यार ये तो 1.5 से 10 हो गया. Obviously these were not the prices, these are after split, bonus, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is जब ये हमारे नजर में आया होता स्टॉक, we would have thought that already it is 5-6 times. We don't know what is there RHS पे, right hand side पे. We would have somewhere been here and we would have been scared that now if I enter I would have lost. But we are very happy to buy stocks that are hitting new lows. Right or wrong? Guys, if you don't look at stocks hitting new highs, how will you ever find a multi-bagger like this? I am not saying you will find all multi-baggers. But what I am trying to say is, if you don't do this, how would you ever find it? Now, when I see, okay, let us just assume, okay, that I saw it was hitting. Let us go step by step how you can do it. Guys, what is this? You are just putting names of 500 websites. Just chill. Let us focus on the content right now. ठीक है. So when I
Guys,
saw
just
this,
let us focus on the content and let's Soumya finish. We'll put all these resources after the webinar has finished. Please just let him finish.
we have a lot of content and you'll enjoy it. Trust me. Just be with me. Say, suppose I went through. Say, let us go in 2010, 11, 12, whenever. Suppose this particular stock came in my new 52-week high or 6-month high or 3-month high list. What would I have done? The first thing I would have done is I would have opened screener. I opened screener and I saw that okay, this particular company has a negative cash conversion cycle, which, because it's one of my patterns which I have made by doing hard work of going into the history and studying old stocks. Now, when I look at this, then I realize that okay, this is an interesting company because it's a very small company, tiny company, and somebody is giving advances. Correct? Somebody is giving advances. So what would I have done? Yes, exit is also very important, but we cannot cover everything in one webinar. Let us focus on this right now, and later we can talk about those things. So when I saw कि एडवांस मिल रहा है इतनी छोटी कंपनी को, वी वुड हैव गॉटन वेरी इंटरेस्टेड. चलो और टाइम देते और पढ़ते. राइट और रॉन्ग? जस्ट बी विथ मी, टेल मी हाँ कि ना. राइट? फिर जब पढ़ते और इंटरेस्टिंग लगता, वी वुड हैव एक्चुअली गॉन एंड जस्ट लुक एट द स्क्रीनर. लेट मी जस्ट सी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ऑपरेशनल परफॉर्मेंस इज द कंपनी delivering. Mind you, we are in 2011, correct? You see that company has been giving phenomenal sales growth, correct? And it is also kind of increasing its margin, and if you look, PAT growth is also phenomenal. Do you find companies which grow profits at 30, 70, 80, 50% year on year? How many companies do that? All the more reason to study it. Now what comes in our mind is already इतना growth तो दे दिया है, अभी यहाँ से क्या देगा? And then that is the reason why we don't study it. Study it and then decide whether it can give more growth or not. सिर्फ दे दिया है ग्रोथ और प्राइस 2 गुना हो गया या 50% बढ़ गया है, that doesn't really mean that you don't even study it. Are you getting my point, guys? ऐसा ही होता है ना हमारे साथ. Don't do that. So this is one of the patterns that I follow. The second pattern is keep an eye on acquisition and takeovers. So a lot of times what happens is a company is very good, but there are some management issues. The products are good, but somehow the management is not really capable enough to grow the business, or some other issues are there, and it gets taken over or acquired by someone else who's much better, or there's a management change, somebody very experienced and a legend in the industry comes and starts to work with that company. So uh, these kind of instances change the entire course of the company. And how will you know that? You will not sit in BSc and refresh every announcement and read it, right? I'll tell you how will you know that. The case study for this particular example is Shri Digvijay Cement. So just a second. Please focus on the timelines, okay? True North, this is 14th November 2018. Remember the dates. Dates are very important. 14th November 2018. RKD is not getting into management of Andhra paper or West Coast paper. So that, I don't know, it doesn't really fit into this. This is different. So True North buys 75% of Sri Digvijay Cement. Okay. And this is November 18. Okay, just focus on this. This is November 18. In on 30th April 2019, which is 5-6 months after that, they appointed Anil Singhvi as the non-independent director in the company. Now, if you just Google about Anil Singhvi, you will get this article. दूसरा या तीसरे नंबर पे ही आ जाएगा. And this Anil Singhvi is not our Z business guy. This Anil Singhvi is legend in cement industry. He created one of the biggest companies in cement, Gujarat Ambuja Cement, which is now known as Ambuja Cement, from scratch. He was MD there. And this Sri Digvijay Cement is a very small, tiny company, जिसमें he became managing director, independent director, sorry. So सिर्फ ये बात बताना, if such a big guy who has seen the industry for over 20 years gives his hand, his entire time, everything to a small little tiny company, mind you, in the same industry में, आपको नहीं लगता ऐसी कंपनी की किस्मत बदल जाएगी? लगता है कि नहीं लगता है? बड़े कंपनी में तो फिर भी एक आदमी उतना डिफरेंस क्या लाएगा? ला तो सकते हैं, लेकिन छोटी कंपनी का तो पूरा किस्मत बदल जाएगा ना. Now, how would it come on my radar? ये क्वेश्चन यू आर नॉट आस्किंग. यू गाइस शुड आस्क दिस थिंग टू मी कि भाई पता कैसे चलेगा ऐसा हो रहा है? दिन भर अखबार भी पढ़ोगे या bscindia.com खोल के सारा कॉर्पोरेट अनाउंसमेंट भी देखोगे तो ये आपके सामने नहीं आने वाला. How will it come on my radar? When the stock hits a new 50 rupee high, 3-month high, 6-month high, whatever, depending on the kind of market we are in. Just see, November was the time when True North acquired, right? You remember the date, November 2018? True North acquired 75%. Guys, please reply. Remember the date? Ab dekho, this is where it was. And after that, the stock was still making new highs. Remember the date when Anil Singhvi joined? In spite of him being such a great personality, April 2019, ये देखो, It could be due to market situation as well. I'm not saying this will happen every time. But can you see the stock was still making new 52-week lows? तो वही मैं बोल रहा हूं कि तुरंत मत कूद के खरीदो. ऐसा हो रहा है. ही टोल्ड मी कि ये पैटर्न मल्टीबैगर पैटर्न होता है, चलो कूद के खरीद लो. 25 का 12 रुपए आ गया था, आधा हो गया था स्टॉक. डू यू रियलाइज द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ वेटिंग फॉर न्यू हाइज? यू वुड हैव गॉन फ्रस्ट्रेटेड एंड यू वुड हैव सोल्ड व्हेन यू गॉट योर कॉस्ट. मान लो आप यहाँ पे ले भी लेते 20 रुपए में, 15 रुपए में, कहीं पे भी, इतना देर बाद वो वापस प्राइस आता, आप तो बेच देते. अरे मेरा कॉस्ट आ गया, थैंक यू गॉड, बेच दो. और बाद में वो मल्टीबैगर बन जाता. आप अपने फ्रेंड को बोलते, अरे यार मेरे पास था, मैं इतना नीचे चला गया था और फिर ऊपर गया. क्या फायदा हुआ? गेव यू मनी? नो. डिड हेल्प यू इन एनी वे? नो. So that's why, you know, I prefer when it starts hitting a new high. So मेरे को तो ये भी नहीं पता होता कि ये सब हो रहा है इस स्टॉक में, that अनिल सिंघवी is coming and ये changes हो रहा है. I would have started studying it here when it made a new 6-month high, 3-month high, 12-month high, whatever. I would have started looking at it here. And when I would have looked at it here, then I would have googled about the company. तब मेरे को पता चलता. Then I would have looked at BSC announcements. That in 18, when would I have looked at the company? October, November 2019. तब मेरे को पता चलता है कि यार ठीक है, इसमें ऐसा हुआ है. True North has taken stake. Then Anil Singhvi has come. Then I would have googled and I would have seen that Anil Singhvi is such and such guy. And then I would have just a second, I need to connect my charger. Then I would have looked at how the company is performing operationally, for which I would have actually seen. ठीक है, Anil Singhvi has come. Is he even taking interest, or is he just there? Let him show some improvement in the results, right? And then when you see, he came in April. You guys remember? April 2019. And now look at the changes in results from 1% to suddenly 24% margin. मतलब कितना ऑपरेशनल एफिशिएंसी बढ़ा दिया होगा कंपनी का. Are you getting my point? And you can see that this guy has come and this is happening. Does this not make you feel that we should focus more on this company and study even more? Guys, हाँ कि ना? Have you kind of ever seen these kind of patterns in any book? These are practical experiences that we are talking about. ज्ञान व्यान जमता नहीं है अपने को ज्यादा, प्रैक्टिकली होनी चाहिए चीजें. Let us come to the third pattern. Eradication of non-core diversification. Just look at the spelling. This is a term coined by Peter Lynch. He is one of the greatest mutual fund managers America has ever seen, right? And he says that एक होता है डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, करेक्ट स्पेलिंग वाला. एक होता है वर्सिफिकेशन, मतलब वर्स कर देना. मतलब a company having business which probably doesn't even suit it. Correct? The case study here is Symphony. Symphony has been a big multi-bagger, right? All of us know it. But was it always a multi-bagger? This was what Symphony was before it became a big wealth creator in the Indian stock markets. It was on the verge of bankruptcy, nearly quoting at 10-20 paise. What did Mr. Bakeri, who is the owner of the company, say? In 1994, we went public. Everyone was advising us to expand our product range. The argument was that these guys are into coolers, right? So people were saying that आप लोग खाली cooler में हो, which is a seasonal business, गर्मी में ही बिकेगा. So why don't you make more electronic products such as geyser, room heater, etc., 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 and which led to which spelled a doom for the company, and the company eroded all its net worth. As we can see, it was on the verge of bankruptcy. It was a nightmare. I hope all of you guys are reading along with me. Some of my friends advised me to declare bankruptcy. Others told me to join my father's business. Some said you should leave the country. However, he had complete faith in its products, and they exited all other products except coolers and geysers. And by 2007, the company was debt free. By 2008, it started making profits. Correct? So now look at, let us just see what actually happened. I don't have the data from 2007. You can take it out from BSC. I just took it out from Screener. But you can see how fast the company was growing. 50% above gross profit margin. If you look at the PAT, they were growing phenomenally fast. And we have already seen how the stock price was making new lows, was around bankruptcy. And after this, how the stock prices started to react. And when would it have come on our radar? When would we have known about the company? When it started to hit a new high. We would have studied it. If not in 2007, maybe in 2010, maybe in 2012, we would have studied it. We would have seen how the company was performing. We would have done more in-depth fundamental research, and then maybe we would have decided whether to buy it or not. Or else, the other way is wait for WhatsApp, TV and those kind of things to cover. WhatsApp में message आएगा, TV में बोलेगा, कोई आपको आके बोलेगा. Till that time the stock will be 900,000 rupees. Big people will be exiting, you will be buying. सेल्फ डिपेंडेंसी कभी नहीं बनेगी. सही बोला कि गलत बोला? There are 236 people. Everyone, come on. So my whole point is, ये पैटर्न्स आपके पास कैसे आएंगे? ये पैटर्न्स मैंने कोई बुक में नहीं पढ़े. I have not read it anywhere. I read past stocks which have become multibaggers, past stocks which have become well destroyers. I love reading about it. क्यों बना? ऐसा क्या बिजनेस था? प्रमोटर का क्या बैकग्राउंड था? क्या हुआ था? स्टोरी की तरह समझो, मूवी की तरह समझो. It's like a web series that you are watching. If you find it interesting, वैसे आपको मजा आने लगेगा एक पॉइंट के बाद. When you are able to do it, it will take time. You know, a lot of people ask me, what is the toughest thing that you have learnt? I would say ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4, alphabets and numbers. Why? Because everything that we learnt after that, we had the base of alphabets and numbers. How would you have done addition if you did not know numbers? For these things, we did not have, for numbers and alphabet, we did not have any base. And why do you think that you cannot do it? We all could learn alphabets and numbers, right? अगर वो सब कोई सीख पाए जिसका कोई बेस ही नहीं था, उसके पहले हमें कुछ आता ही नहीं था, तो ये क्यों नहीं सीख सकते? हाँ, somebody might take more time, somebody might take less time. That is different. But believe in yourself that you can learn. And nobody can learn in one day. Even I cannot learn, or nobody can learn in one day. I am also still learning every day. Market is showing its new face every day, right? But we are not focusing on Symphony anymore. It's just a case study, old case study that we talked about. So believe in yourself. Focus on improvement. Don't focus that ये तो मेरे से हो ही नहीं रहा. आप क्या कल से बेहतर आज कर रहे हो? क्या परसों और बेहतर कर पाओगे? If you can improve, you will learn and you will keep on making mistakes, but you will keep on learning from them. It's not a motivational session, but then a lot of people get motivated seeing these patterns and all. They start looking at new highs, doing things, and then they leave midway. ऐसा नहीं. मतलब give yourself a time that okay, I'll focus on this 1 hour a day for the next 365 days. I'll see where I am. Like even when I go to a particular doctor or anything, I just give it time. एक साल में कुछ नहीं सोचूंगा, या 2 हफ्ते तक तो मैं डॉक्टर चेंज का नहीं सोचूंगा. People go to doctor, take medicine one day, and next day they feel that no, should I change my doctor? I am not getting improvement. You should have decided that earlier which doctor to go to. But once you go to someone, trust him and give it time, right? You can do it. All of you can do it, but you need to give time. And this is a very, very, very interesting. There are no sites or apps to study these patterns, Prashant. As I'm telling you, that these are from my own experiences. These are patterns that are, formed by me by studying history and seeing commonalities. I'm telling you the process step by step how to do it. Go check out the companies which have created wealth, study them, see when they hit new highs, then go back and see how they were showing on screener. Feel as if you were standing there at that point in time. How would you have studied them? Obviously, it's easier in hindsight, but then what other option do we have to practice? अरे कोहली भी तो नेट प्रैक्टिस करता है तब जाके मैच में रन बनाता है ना. So you have to do that, yaar. You have to do that. So demerger in a sizable company. This is a very interesting pattern. I'll not say that this is a pure long-term investing pattern, which the other three were. This is more like a medium-term trading pattern, but it can become a long-term also depending on fundamentals. So one of the case studies, Strides and Solara. तो इसका मैं आपको एक बेसिक लॉजिक बताता हूँ. What happens is, a lot of times, a lot of times what happens is a company is very big. The market cap is very big. All of us know that for mutual funds or FIIs to hold a particular company, they need to buy above a certain market cap, right? Guys, एक particular market cap के ऊपर ही FIIs या big people or mutual funds can buy company, correct? When demerger happens and one company out of the demerger remains big, the other company is very tiny, small market cap, 200, 300, 400 crore. By law, these people cannot hold on to this particular company. They are not allowed to hold on to this particular company. Suppose a large cap mutual fund is holding it. A large cap mutual fund is only supposed to hold large cap stocks. And suddenly this tiny little company comes out of the large cap stock that it is holding. So they are forced to sell because of rules that even if the business is good, even if the company has multi-bagger potential, the fund manager can buy in his own name, but he cannot buy in his fund. समझ में आया सबको? Is it crystal clear for everyone? The concept? 236 guys. Does it make sense? Logical है कि नहीं है? Now what happened? Let us take example of Strides and Solara. Now Solara as a business you really like. So you might just jump and try to buy on the day one. And then you might wonder why is it going down if you don't know this concept. So entire point is see how it just went on lower circuit to lower circuit for so many days, around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days. And the stock price came from around 300, 320 and hit a low of 130, 140, which is like more or less more than 50% drawdown. Correct? Just because of artificial selling. And once these guys could exit and their quantity got over, the stock skyrocketed, and within a few months, which not even few months, within 1 month, the stock went out to hit nearly 400 from 130 and became a big multi-bagger. Now again, in all the companies that a demerger happens, you do not go and buy it. You do not wait for selling to get over. You have to look at fundamental of the demerged entity. Does it even warrant a buy? Is it artificial selling or is it genuine selling because the company is bad? Please understand this carefully or else you will make mistake. Guys, is this artificial selling or this is selling because the company is bad? How will you know that? By studying the fundamentals of that particular company, right or wrong. We Syntex का भी demerger हुआ था. Stock kept on going down. Correct? So this is one of the reasons why you get great bargains in demerger of a good company. I'll give you a recent example. This is a fifth case study that we are doing in a short period of time. We could have extended it and been slow, but we are just focusing on the correct content right now. There's a company called Aarti Industries, and recently, Aarti Industries got demerged, and Aarti surfactants came out of it. Okay, how many of you know about it, guys? Aarti Industries is a big company, has been a big multi-bagger, a very good group which has created a lot of wealth for shareholders. Now, how me and my people, like in the mentorship program that I run, we caught this move. I'll just show it to you. So we were prepared that FIIs have got total 6,80,000 shares. Obviously, in the webinars that we do, I had already shared with them the concept. So they all knew about this concept about forced selling in a good company. And then you can see how the selling was happening. The forced selling, right? How did it play out? This particular day by 9:40, around 4.5 lakh volume happened in first 20-30 minutes, and we realized that selling might get over today, and we pounced onto it, and the rest is history. Just look how the stock went up. Although we exited, a little early, but then even if you made 60-70% in 50-60% in 7-8 days, it's massive. Correct? Is this not very practical? Will you find this in any book? Is this not practical? Practical है कि नहीं है? हाँ या ना? Yes or no? Is it doable or not doable? Is it common sense or not common sense? But ये बोलेगा कौन आपको? So that is why you have to be very observant. You have to focus on whatever is happening and note it down. But again, We got it at 940 because we were focusing on volume, right? We knew that total day. अरे तो ऑपरेटर का है कि नहीं है भाई, पहले तो ऑपरेटर के पास शेयर कहाँ से आएगा, अभी तो डीमर्ज हुआ है और मान लेते हैं होगा भी, तो फंडामेंटल तो पढ़ रहे हैं ना कंपनी का. वी स्टडीड द फंडामेंटल, राइट? वी डिड नॉट बाय रैंडमली. शिल्पा मेडिकेयर डिड नॉट demerge. We are talking about demerge entity here. Are you getting my point? Now you have seen two examples of the same thing, and I can give you tons of other examples as well in the companies that this has happened. So fundamental देखना पड़ेगा, otherwise lower circuit भी जाएगा. At 940 you could have bought a lot of quantity there. You have to be alert. In stocks में ऐसा ही होगा. Once the now this will not be a probably a lower circuit upper circuit stock, but you have to be very alert. And I have missed out on a few number of times as well, just because I could not really buy it because it went to upper circuit. You miss out also, but if you catch it, you will get a very fast super move in a very good company. If you would have focused on the volumes, 940 exactly, I had sent message in my mentorship group that look at this stock, look at the volumes. So you could have extrapolated volumes ना, अगर 20 मिनट में 3-4 लाख का माल हो गया है, and we knew here that total 6,79,000 were there, उसके पहले दिन भी कुछ तो बिका ही है in these areas. You could have kind of taken a guess that ho gaya, and then valuation also, no? So all of these things combined, although I still believed that this was expensive, but then being Aarti Group and we market going up, to theek hai, because it will take time for this company to post good numbers, because they are doing a very big expansion, but again that will take time. Now the next pattern is companies eating market share of market leaders. So whenever you find a company that is eating market share of a company which is market leader in its segment and becoming bigger, you should focus on that. So be it Havells, Crompton, Amara Raja, Exide, Mahindra APC, Jain Irrigation, these companies are there. So case study 6. This is the 6th case study that we are doing today, and we'll focus on Vinati Organics versus Lubrizol. Try and understand, okay, and it will make a lot of sense to you. Lubrizol was competitor of Vinati in ATBS segment, and they decided that they will leave this particular business in December 2017. In ATBS business, Lubrizol had 20% market share. Vinati had 40% market share, 40 to 45%. अब आप बोलोगे कि 20% मार्केट शेयर लुब्रिजॉल के पास है, देन why did it exit the business? ऐसा मन में आता है? Why did it exit the business? If you have 20% market share in a particular product, you might not exit the business. Because for Lubrizol, ATBS was only 1% of the total revenues. They just generated 1% of the revenue from ATBS. तो बोला करके क्या फायदा, बंदी कर देते. But for Vinati, it was 50%. Vinati's market share, तो अब आप बताओ कि एक जन है, आपके लिए वो प्रोडक्ट इतना मैटर करता है, विनती के लिए तो बहुत मैटर करता है ना. 50% धंधा उसका उसी से आता है. लुब्रिजॉल हैड 20% मार्केट शेयर, 20% वाला चला जाएगा, आप लीडर हो विद 40-45% मार्केट शेयर, किसको बेनिफिट होगा सबसे ज्यादा? विद द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, रीच, सुपीरियोरिटी. तो पूरा 20% विनती ने खा गया, 60 to 65% हो गया 40 to 45 से. करेक्ट? ये अगर मैं आपको बताऊं कोई कंपनी के बारे में तो आपके मन में नहीं आ रहा कि पढ़ लूँ और शायद मल्टीबैगर बन जाए? जो लोग ये सोचते हैं कि मार्केट में सिर्फ मल्टी मैनिपुलेशन होता है, ये होता है, वो होता है, पढ़ के कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है, आज लग रहा है पढ़ के फ़ायदा है, वो सब होता है, होने दो ना। आप क्या कर सकते हो उसका? जो अपने कर सकते हैं अपने उसका सोचते हैं ना, हाउ कैन वी इम्प्रूव, राइट और रॉन्ग? फायदा है ना पढ़ के। इतना सा बात आपको पता चल जाए दैट विनती की 40-45% मार्केट शेयर है, लुब्रिजॉल ने 20% मार्केट शेयर वाला प्लेयर बाहर चला गया, और क्या मल्टीबैगर ढूंढू? बताओ भाई लोग, गाइस, कॉन्फिडेंस आता है कि नहीं आता है इतना पढ़ के? बट इतना तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा ना, इतना तो जानना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो कैसे आएगा कॉन्फिडेंस? सो स्टॉक बिकेम 4x इन 2.5 years, 4 गुना हो गया। और वो भी कब? 2017, 18, 19 में, when all the small and mid caps, we all know what was happening with them. You would have got such a beautiful opportunity to hide here, right or wrong? एंड मेरे नज़र में कैसे आता? आई अगेन डोंट हैव एनी रॉकेट साइंस, इट्स वेरी सिंपल। स्टॉक हिटिंग अ न्यू हाई, कब छोड़ा उन्होंने? सॉरी, यहाँ पे तो नहीं आता, इट वॉज हिटिंग अ न्यू हाई फ्रॉम बिफोर, but let us just look at the timelines again once, so that you guys understand it. Somebody is asking to annotate. Why would you want to annotate on this screen? They left in December 2017. Okay, this is December 2017. आप ये पढ़ के कूद जाते ना तो शायद स्टॉक नीचे ही आया है उसके बाद. But when would I have seen it? This was more because of the, I don't know, market was correcting. I don't remember. But can you see it immediately did not run up? It came down also. It could run up immediately also. But that is the benefit of buying when it hits a new high. You wait for it. In fact, I would not even have studied it in these periods. जब तक कि कुछ यहाँ पढ़ा होगा वो अलग स्टोरी होगी. But just assuming that I did not study it and I studied it later after the news. Just assuming that. Getting my point, guys? समझ में आया कब नज़र में आया होता, कब पढ़ा होता, एंड यू कैन सी द इम्प्रूवमेंट. अगर आप यहाँ देखोगे दिसंबर में उन्होंने छोड़ा ना, तो एक क्वार्टर भी अगर आप दे देते तो मार्च में आपको पता चल जाता कि इसी को फायदा होना है, यही तो सब लेके जा रहा है, हाँ कि ना? अ कंपनी विच वॉज फ्लैट इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेल्स and profits, EPS, suddenly there was a massive jump. और jump का तो reason आपको समझ में आया ना क्या था? That its competitor left the business. Yes or no? So this would have given you more confidence. Correct? Guys? So even if you saw it in March, the improvement, you could have bought it. You would not have missed anything. So these were the case studies from my side. These were the fundamental patterns. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the session, learned a lot, feel motivated to research more. हाँ ठीक है, अगेन फ्लैट तो 4 गुना हो गया ना, आप बेच दो ना, अब वो जीवन भर थोड़ी ना कंपनी बढ़ते रहेगा. ले लिया मार्केट शेयर. Not every company you have to buy and hold forever ना. Story got over, you bought because it will take market share, it has taken market share, सेल करो, दूसरा ढूंढो. So thanks a lot, guys. You can reach me out at the mentorship program at gmail.com. I am open for Q&A session. You guys can ask me questions now. I also run a mentorship program where we do such webinars every month, and it's very practical. In case you guys are interested to learn, you guys can reach me out on the mentorship program at gmail.com. and we do such webinars every month in mentorship program, and it's this content is also one of the part of my webinar only, which I do with my mentees. So you guys can get in touch, and we guys